This Special A Friend of Mine episode is a live roving interview from the 2024 Australian Sheep and Wool Show, the largest show of its type in the world. For 3 days in July, Bendigo becomes the epicentre of woollen fashion, fine food and beautiful fibre. At times you will hear the sounds of our surroundings, whether it's some of the 30,000 people in attendance, machinery or a PA system. I feel like these sounds make you feel like you're standing right there with us having a quick catch up. Meet our 3 special guests. Anna from the Woolly brand produces a range of Woolmark certified kids knitwear made from 100% Australian merino wool. The range is designed to be smart, sustainable and durable enough to be handed down through the generations. Donna from Adagio Mills swapped city living for acreage in Hawkesbury, New South Wales. The brand produces raw alpaca fibre to finished garment all in one place. Rebecca from Leroy and Mac has been attending the show for the past 13 years. The brand is dedicated to crafting the best Australian merino garments with a focus on ethics and sustainability. So let me introduce you to some new friends of mine.
Hello, Anna. It's so nice to meet you in person. We have met before, and we were just talking how lovely it is to get out from behind the screen and actually meet your customers, meet those that have been following you for years and have a face-to-face conversation with them.
We do. We absolutely love coming to Bendigo because not only are we seeing people face-to-face out from behind social media, out from behind our website, but we're also, we're meeting those who love wool, those that come to Bendigo Sheep Show that are already committed to wool. And so, it's music to our ears to see these people, to hear their stories, where they're from, and then also hear where they take their woolies. We absolutely love coming here to Bendigo.
Talking about wool, what's your wool journey? How did you come to launch a brand where merino wool is the hero of the product?
So I grew up on a merino and cropping farm up in the Riverina in New South Wales. And so wool was just part of our everyday. We were those kids that jumped off the bus and went straight to the sheep yards in our school uniforms and pushed up, in the draft. We were those kids, helping out at lamb marking, the shearing shed, all those kinds of things. But we were also always wearing hand-knitted garments from our grandparents, from our cousins, the hand-me-downs that went along through everyone. And so for us, it was just part of who we were and are. And so as I grew older and when I had children of my own and I was no longer on a sheep farm myself, but I still had an appreciation for merino knitwear. And again, the knitwear came out when we had our daughters. And so, from grandparents and hand-me-downs coming through, we would, wherever we would go, people would see these beautiful knitted pieces and ask about them and lament the fact that they didn't have a knitting granny in their family anymore because, whilst at Bendigo Sheep Show, we are amongst all the knitters, this isn't common anymore that everyone has a knitter in their family. And so we decided that, we wanted to create that opportunity for families to continue having beautiful quality knitted pieces that become part of a family story that get handed down from sibling to sibling, cousin to friend, and on to the next generation. And so, that is what brings us to Bendigo, is being able to, be part of that story for, families ongoing.
Can you knit?
I can, but not well enough to, to compare to all the knitters here in Bendigo. So yes, and definitely not well enough to be able to, in terms of the beautiful quality of our knitwear, but I can. There's a few drop stitches here and there. There's, a few ones that I might be able to pick up, but yeah, I leave the knitting to those who are very skilled.
When you'd mentioned it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is something that Nana passed down to me, is how to knit. And I remember sitting in front of the heater and we'd be, Days of Our Life is on in the background and we'd be knitting. Yep. I've never knitted something complete. I don't think I even got maybe a quarter way through a scarf ever, but I think I was just thinking it's a skill that I haven't passed on. So
yeah, absolutely. And so, for me, I remember because my background is in nursing, and I used to sit in my nursing lectures up in Armidale, sitting there knitting away, and I've got these, lumpy scarves that I wear around home and with the animals and whatnot. But yeah, I these days leave the knitting to my husband's mother. She's an incredible knitter, and so, I do need to get her to teach our daughters because I would love them to have that skill, because it's a really lovely thing, like you say. And I think the amazing thing about knitting and those kind of skills, you remember the relationship. And that's the thing with knitwear that I love, is the connection that it so often is, whether it's, it's handed down, it's the skill that's handed down, it's that cozy, warm relationship that, to be cliche, wrapped in love, and that's the special thing about it, and that's what we love to be part of.
Every piece starts to have a story when you're handing it down. Now, you are very good at telling a story. I'm sure that those that are listening can sort of hear that. And I've seen you in a lot of media, so that it would, I'm assuming, a really big part of your business strategy is to share that story and those origins of how the brand started.
I think it's really important to be able to share the story and the experience, because that's how we make a connection with our customer. We don't have an enormous marketing budget as a tiny, small business that, I am Anna from marketing, I'm Anna from accounts, Anna from sales, Anna from, logistics. And so, without a huge marketing budget where I can just splash ads everywhere, the way to be able to get our product out there is through telling our story. But also that's something that, whilst we all, have our challenges with social media has been the most amazing tool for being able to communicate the story of our business. And so leaning into that has been an amazing part of, getting our product out there, getting the experience out there, and getting that connection. Because once people connect with a product and with a brand, we want that to be for life. And so, that's why we love coming here to Bendigo, because this is now our third Bendigo. And, the first season we were new and we were, people took a punt on our brand and our business. And last year and this year, we're now having customers coming back and saying, our kids are still wearing them and we need the next size up. And that's just music to our ears. And that's exactly what we love. And so, it's the story and the experience that really sells our product. And it's, other people being able to tell their story through our knitwear.
I mean, it couldn't be better weather for the Australian Sheep and Wool Show today. It's freezing. It is such a winter's day outside, which obviously is great for you. Tell me, what does the season of business look like in 2024?
It's tough. It's really tough. And especially when we don't have a storefront, being online, everyone is really considering where their hard-earned dollars are going. And so in the online space, it is really challenging. And so we've been really pleasantly surprised coming here to Bendigo and having such a positive reaction to our knitwear. But nothing ever beats an in-person experience where people get to touch and feel the knitwear, because I can talk, black and blue about how soft something is, but when someone comes in and they touch it and they feel it and they realise that actually this is the most incredibly soft, gentle fibre that is going to be rough and tumble ready for my busy kids, that's just, the best thing and the best sales pitch there is. So business in 2024 is hard, but it's, getting out there and having those conversations is making a really big difference in terms of business for us. Yeah.
Brilliant. Now, last question. Who should we stop and visit while we're here?
The next store to come by, I love the story of Anlaby. So they are on the other side of in our Noble Pavilion. They grow all their own wool. They are one of the oldest studs in South Australia. They have the most incredible farm and story right through from their farm right through to their product. And so, absolutely stop by Anlaby.
Brilliant. Always a pleasure to see you in person. And as I said, I see the Woolly brand everywhere in media, and it's one of those moments where you go, I know who that is. I know that story, and it is so good to watch someone else succeed at what they're doing. So well done.
Thank you so much. And it just is so exciting to hear that we're being seen out there and about, just from our, our living room where I'm packing orders with the kids playing and, toys underneath my feet, and to think that, we're making our way out into other people's lives. So, couldn't be better.
Hello, Donna. Welcome to Bendigo, where we have just put on the best show for you in terms of weather.
Thank you so much. I can't believe how windy it actually is today. But in saying that, it is amazing weather for what we sell here in Bendigo.
Is this your first time here at the Australian Sheep and Wool Show?
So first time as a retailer, second time into the show itself. We actually came down last year as customers and were just so overwhelmed and amazed by what you put here that we came back.
Now, you are situated right near the fashion show, right near the catwalk, so I couldn't think of a better spot. But the thing is, there are people around your stall anyway, all the time. Like it's been really hard to get you on a break.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, we are situated in a perfect spot. We actually do have some garments in the fashion parade as well. So it is actually quite heartwarming when people do see our garments in the fashion parade that actually do come over and chat to us afterwards as well.
And have you seen a lot of your customers, the ones that you connect with online, have you seen them and been able to, connect face to face and, what is that like?
It is great. It's great to be able to speak to customers in person. It's also good to be able to put a face to a name and be able to talk to people that have come from all over Australia. The Australian Sheep and Wool Show is such a great place that you get to meet from. We had a customer here in Tasmania, Victoria, South Australia, just all over the place. Queenslanders.
I mean, they'd be getting a shock of their life with our weather today. What I love is your story. And that is that you started off in accounting and then, you're from the city as well, but moved to acreage and have really just embraced the rural life and then started this incredible brand and have a mill and everything. Can you give a version of that startup story of your business?
We moved, as you said, from the city to country. We bought acreage. We had chickens. We sort of looked at how we're going to protect the chickens from foxes. We fell in love with alpacas. We purchased our first 2 and then just kept going and going. With alpacas, there is so many beautiful things that you can get from them. They don't damage the land in terms of they have soft padded feet. They nibble the tops of grass so they won't pull out and ruin the vegetation that's there. And they're amazing fibre, which is where we got into the mill side of things. I've always been a big craft addict myself. So I've always knitted and crocheted and used beautiful yarns. But what better way to actually produce your own in what we do. So we're quite passionate about keeping and using Australian wool and alpaca, doing all the processing ourselves here in Australia, and also collaborating with a lot of other small businesses as well. So we're very passionate about keeping true to ourselves. Yeah.
And you have that really recognisable Australian-made brand as well.
Yes, we do. So we're a part of the Australian-made and owned campaign, and we're quite big in being able to, I guess, show to our customers and have that traceability as well.
So for those that sort of don't know a lot about traceability, why is it important?
So a big thing for me personally and a lot of our customers is actually knowing that the animal has been treated humanely, ethically, and where it's actually coming from. That it's actually coming from a farm in Australia that has high standards in both animal management and then also the end user for us and making sure that we do the right things in terms of when we wash, the pollution, how we treat our mill. So we do use solar panels in our mill as well. So sustainability is a big thing for us. But in terms of being able to know that with some of our yarn as well, we actually have them called particular alpaca names or sheep names. So one of our favourite names is called Sharon. And so we can actually provide a picture of Sharon to the yarn and people actually get that connectability that they can actually see that their yarns actually come from the beautiful Sharon.
And that builds on that story too. I mean, I was speaking to Anna from the Woolly brand and just how, your jumper has a story as it's passed down. I mean, that builds into it then for you as well?
100%. With our products, quality products, if you look after them, they'll last you a lifetime. And just with that, you can actually then pass it on to your child or grandchild and just being able to keep that story alive. And because it's a natural garment, it's going to stay there. And you know that when you do wash it, there's no chemicals in it. So it's not going to react to your skin. You're not going to then pass on chemicals to the land, basically. So all our yarns are all completely natural. So what you're wearing is actually better for you and better for the environment as well.
Now, you're from accounting, your husband's from civil engineering. What was it like stepping into your own business?
Wow. With people that do have small business, large business, they sort of understand that there's not just one aspect of business. There is just so much. So one minute you're doing social media, the next minute you're actually in the mill producing yarn, the next minute you're doing labelling. So there is a lot more to it than, working for somebody, I guess.
Hey, do you pinch yourself some days and go, oh my gosh, like my life is just so different now from, city accounting to living on acreage and running this business that, you then get to see your product on people?
Definitely. And it's so much more rewarding and self-satisfying to actually get to chat to customers, actually get to see your yarn being made into garments and actually being worn. It's something that I'm so glad we did, and I don't see us ever going back, to be honest.
In terms of 2024, what has this year been like for you and your business?
So I guess 2024 has been quite challenging for us as a business, just with the state of the economic here in Australia, with higher interest rates, the cost of living. It affects everybody. Not only for business side of things, all our costs go up in terms of wages, electricity, but also customers are a bit more cautious of what they're spending their money on. So that's sort of, I guess, a big business challenge for us, and a lot of businesses, to be quite honest.
And what do you do to stay the line and keep pushing through? Is there something, have you invested in anything in particular, or, looked at other ways to diversify or pivot?
So at the moment, we started as an alpaca mill. So we started diversifying just as customers' needs sort of come up. We're doing a lot of blends, so alpaca sheep blends. So we've got some beautiful alpaca merino, we've got some beautiful alpaca Polworth, all completely Australian. So while we're here in Bendigo, we're actually picking up a lot of sheep fleece to take home with us as well. So we're sort of, I guess, trying to evolve with the market. And as customers sort of give us hints and tips, we just sort of try and evolve to what we can.
Amazing. Now, we're in a great shed here, I think, especially when we're talking about, the fashion show and all the other retailers and stall holders. Who are some of your favourite friends here at the Australian Sheep and Wool Show?
So this is Vera. So Vera lives in Hornsby, New South Wales.
Yep.
So Vera has a lovely Ravelry site, and she also does our beautiful creations for our knitting kits. So Vera is actually a knitting designer based in Australia. So we work quite closely together, and we sort of spitball ideas off each other. And Vera creates absolutely beautiful designs for us using our yarn.
What is it, Vera, that you love about the collaboration?
Well, I'm given freedom. I'm given, this is the yarn. We would like a cowl or a vest, but they do not impose their ideas. So I'm still free to do what I think works best for the yarn. And I get to choose the color, and it's also just beautiful yarn. Of course, I love it because it's all natural, very soft, easy to work with. Like, it doesn't, it's not super wash, so you don't have all those problems with blocking and it's too big. It's just a wonderful product to work with.
And while you've been here, have you seen anyone wearing something like one of your designs at all?
Yes, I have. Some lovely people who bought patterns last year from me came over and they were like, oh, I've done that. And so that makes it really worth it. It's one.
And what's your background? Like, how have you got into sort of, I suppose, this type of industry? And is it something that you do full time?
I don't do it full time. I'm a musician. So this is still my hobby. I've knitted all my life, but I've never followed patterns. Like, I looked at photos and was like, yeah, I could do that. I don't need a pattern. So just kept on creating my own designs. And then lots of people said, could you knit that for me? And I was like, no, you can do it. And then I decided to write them down and just started from there.
It's really incredible. I'm going to let you both go because there are people lining up and I know that they want to speak to both of you. So good luck. Amazing business. And as I said, there's people saying such good words about you. So it's just fantastic to have you both here at the Australian Sheep and Wool Show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Australian Sheep and Wool Show.
Thank you. We love coming here. This is I think it's our 13th year. So we've been doing this for a very long time.
How long have you been in business then?
13 years. So, yeah, we started in 2011.
Now, 13 years, 13's lucky for some. I mean, Taylor Swift, that's her favourite, but, unlucky for others. How does 13 years in business feel like at the moment?
Well, I think because of what we do, it's still so exciting, and it's so exciting to tell people what we do and our story, because there is no one else doing what we do. And yeah, it's just exciting meeting new people and being able to tell them what we do.
Tell me the story behind Leroy Mac Designs.
So we are Macavales, and Rodney and our very first pet lamb together was Leroy. So Leroy Mac Designs was born.
We were talking before we hit record and you just said, yeah, it's hard, which is what everyone's saying,
Yes.
But the importance of being here is about telling your story. What story are you telling people? What's the story behind these beautiful products that you make?
As far as we know, are the only company in Australia that are making a machine washable, pure Australian merino product from the wool off their very own farm. There are other people doing similar, but they are not machine washable. So we send our greasy fleeces straight off the farm to Italy to be made into tops. This process cannot be done in Australia. So anything you buy that is Australian merino wool, if it's machine washable, it has been overseas. 87% of Australia's wool trade went to China last year. We didn't want to send our wool to China because they wouldn't guarantee that what we send to them was what came back to us. So we send our fleeces to Italy. They come back as tops. We get them spun and dyed in Wangaratta and knitted in Ballarat. And in 13 years of business, we have not found another single company that's doing what we do with their very own wool.
That's incredible. Now, you mentioned traceability.
Yes.
It's a word that's come up a little bit today, and I think it does when we talk about agriculture. Mm-hmm. Can you tell those that may not be familiar with the word, why is it so important?
I get frustrated with people that are saying they have traceability when they really have no idea. It may be Australian and it may be traceable back to Australia, but they cannot tell you exactly where the wool has come from. We can take you back to the exact paddock that we grew our product in. And again, we don't know anyone else that's doing that with a machine washable product on the market. It's all about greenwashing. People can tell you what they want and no one's going to question you as a business, whereas we believe in honesty. We don't hide anything. If someone wants to know what we do, we tell them exactly what we do. Nothing to hide.
Now, you've bring the whole family along, and you were just saying, it is a big thing to bring the family to these events. And I was speaking with Anna from the Woolly brand. She's got her little ones as well. Do you sort of sit back and just have that moment of you're actually making memories with them? I know it's a lot to take them out of school because this is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. But yeah, do you have that moment where we're making memories together as a family?
Yes. My children, or our children, have been coming along to these. We were pregnant. We actually conceived both of our children. We had help and they were both conceived at Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show. So they've been coming along for a very long time. Madison is 10 now and Isla is 8, and they may have been on the iPads a little too long this weekend, but you do what you have to do so that you can promote yourself and be here, and But the girls, we are making memories, and they do love it.
Now, when I stepped up and we're talking about your product, your husband was so keen to put in my hands a new product. Yes. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I try not to associate it with Leroy Mac because this is my baby. But we own the local school bus at home, and every 18 years you need to upgrade your bus. So this year we upgraded our bus, and the seat material is actually made from the wool off our very own farm, and the bus actually drives past the paddock that the sheep are in that grew the wool that's on the seats in the bus. So, yeah.
That is so innovative, honestly.
I said to my husband, why? And he said, because I can. So we did.
We all need to take that, because I can, and push through. In terms of business, has there been a little quote or a little saying that's pushed you through the last 13 years?
Not a quote. Oh, no, I don't know. I think we bring a product with us that has been made from Australian merino, and we show people the difference between it and our products. And I think just the customer feedback and the response they get from feeling the difference of our products compared to other products on the market is what keeps us going. And the fact that 80% of our customers are repeat customers. Our product sells itself. We're very passionate and very proud, and I think the response from others is what keeps us going.
I saw an older couple walk past. They're like, oh, see that? That's the knit that such and such has for their grandkid. I mean, that just must warm your heart.
I think to see it, well, Rodney's the farmer, I'm the Melbourne girl, but to see a product that he has grown has always been something that just really inspires him and that he's very proud of. So, yeah, it's a different kind of feeling.
If you weren't doing this, Rebecca, what would you be doing?
I love what I do. I really don't know. This is my world. This is what we do.
Sometimes that's the best answer, I think. You know what you're doing. 2024, I've asked everyone else. I mean, it goes without saying it's a hard year, but for you, what's it been like?
I think, yes, it has been hard. Our sales are down, online sales are down, but, you know, we still have customers that come back to us and, you know, as I said, we're not here to sell products. We're here to tell our story and to inspire others to do, you know, don't get told you can't do something, because if you want to do it, you can do it.
Well, so glad you've come back for a 13th year. We'll see you here again next year, I'm sure.
Well, you certainly will. We'll be here. We're not going anywhere.
Now, before you take off with all that inspiration and knowledge, we'd love for you to leave a review on our podcast so that we can continue to amplify women's voices in the media. And if you have any questions, we'd like to celebrate a win, you can always connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Oak Magazine AU. I'm so glad we've met and that now you know a friend of mine.